children of the atom. This is Uncanny, the mutant musings of Matt and Siz. It's the show where we discuss Marvel's Uncanny X-Men comic issue by issue, all the way from 1975's giant-size X-Men #1 to the present day. My name is Matt. I write and draw Steamroller Man, a comedy superhero comic which you can read online for free at steamrollerman.com. And this is my co-host Siz, publisher, promoter, and founder of Comics Studios Australia. You can find everything comics at comx.net.au, comics.net.au. Hello, Siz.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
And I'm good, thank you. I was about to say at the same time as you. We've got a double. I'm good. I'm good, thank you. And I've just realised I've put my notes way off, so I'm just going to have to find where everyone is doing what, and I don't know what I've done with my notes. Ah, crap. Okay. Anyway, there is some people in there. Here it is. I just skipped straight over it because I haven't got a lot of notes. This is issue 105. This is Phoenix Unleashed. This was from June 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that right. Yep, cool. I'm doubting everything because I've had one of those days.
77, not 97.
Did I say 97?
Yeah, you said 97.
I'm definitely having one of those days. 1977, a long time ago. I was about 1.5 years old when this came out. So a little bit further back than 97, because I was a lot older than 1 year old. And the people involved on this one is Chris Claremont as the writer, Dave Cockrum still as the artist, Bob Layton as inks, and Tom, and I've written this really bad, I guess that's Oz as the letterer.
Tom Orzechowski.
Oh, they've only given part of the name.
Yeah, long time X-Men letterer.
Yeah. They've shortened his name, or was that me? Did I write half
no,
his name?
It actually says Tom Oz in
that's why
the credits.
Good. It's not just me. And Andy Yan Charles as colours, and Andy Goodwin as the editor, which you can see on this page.
Archie Goodwin, yeah.
Archie Goodwin. What did I say?
Andy. Oh, man. It's fine. Just keep moving.
It's going to be one of those episodes, people. I'm worse than last week. My God. So yes, we've got a bit of a hint here that we've got Firelord. I don't know if everyone knows who he is. And we've got Eric the Red has jumped into what looks like they say it's the hangar at New York.
Yeah, private airfield in Westchester, New York, which is interesting.
Yeah, which I find funny because in the last scene he was across the road from Jean Grey.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this was a bit of a confusing start to this issue because of that, and especially because we're reading them without, it's not a month between issues as we're reading them. We're just reading them like one a week or more. And so it was a bit sort of jarring to start this issue. And it's like, well, wait, what did we miss? I actually thought, wait, did we miss an issue? And I went back and checked. I was like, no. So I guess we're just starting this like in the midst of a battle, which is an interesting way to start. It's not like a It's not a continuation from the previous issue. There's a time jump in terms of the storytelling. But one thing I have to say about this issue in general, before we get into the details of page by page, was I thought this was amazing. Like, this issue is my favorite one that we've done so far. It's literally non-stop action. Literally from cover to cover, it's just one big fight scene. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And not only have we got Dave Cockrum doing fantastic work with the penciling, but Bob Layton is doing the inks. And Bob Layton became very well known for Iron Man in the 80s. He did a long run both as penciler and then later as inker on Iron Man, and he has a very tight, crisp, clean ink line. That's why he was great on Iron Man, because he was so good at doing all that shine, all that metallic shine on Iron Man's armor. And you can kind of see it in certain panels here, just the crispness and the fine detail on characters' faces and stuff in this issue. I think this one looks better than any issue that we've talked about so far, in my opinion. Like, this is my favorite issue that we've talked about. And not only that, Tom Orzechowski is doing the letters, and Tom Orzechowski became synonymous with the X-Men, because he had that, like, he's eventually developed a very kind of square-ish lettering. Like, his letters were very kind of squat and square. Like, his O's were always like almost perfect circles, which was sort of gave it a distinctive look, because a lot of letterers will do sort of ovals as the O's, and the lettering is a little bit more stretched looking. But Tom Orzechowski, especially as it got into the 80s, and he was the regular letterer on X-Men for years and years and years, really became like that signature look for the X-Men and the mutant books, because I think he was also lettering New Mutants when that first started.
Cool.
So it's great I really liked, I was really happy to see his name in the credits. And you can kind of see in certain panels, like, he's starting to get to that very refined, more squarish look to his lettering as it gets towards the end of the issue, but it's not so much at the beginning. So that's an interesting thing, that you can almost see the evolution of his lettering starting to happen.
One issue, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and then this page, we're basically starting in the middle of the action. So I guess what's happening here is Eric the Red is waiting for the X-Men when they land back from Scotland, which to me was a strange choice, since his stated purpose the whole time has been to kill Charles Xavier, and Charles is, as we saw at the end of last issue, he's in Jean Grey and Misty Knight's apartment with meeting Jean's parents. So you would think, like, well, you could just kill him right there, because you've got Eric the Red and Polaris and Havoc with you.
Yeah, all under your control.
You got the element of surprise, but no, he's chosen to go confront the X-Men at the airport. So, okay, never mind. It's fine.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, he kind of find out why, but still, he could have just done it. He didn't need to do all this.
Right.
But, what I find funny about this is I'm starting to notice a lot in all these issues that old Cyclops, I was going to call him Colossus. Oh my god. Gold Cyclops is a bit of a stormtrooper. He never seems to hit what he's aiming at. He's
interesting.
starting to notice. Sometimes he hits square on, but a lot of the other times he's smacking up walls and all this sort of jazz around him. Doesn't it just go where he's looking? Surely that's easy to aim. Just look that way.
You would think, yeah, that's a good point. All he's got to do is look at something, and that's where it's going to hit.
His mind keeps wandering. Oh, what's over there?
Right. He's very easily distracted.
Yes.
In the midst of battle. Yeah, exactly. So
we'll go. This is a double page spread where we get to see Firelord.
Great double page spread.
Yes.
A very similar design of this page to the exact same page 2 and 3 in the previous issue had a double page spread with almost the exact same panel design, where it's the wide panel on the bottom and then the smaller panels sort of arranged along the top in this kind of angled arrangement. Interesting.
Yeah,
I guess Dave Cockrum just thought, hey, it worked once, why not do it again?
Yeah. I'm
because
curious.
it certainly works here. Like I love this page. I really like the third panel of the close-up of Firelord's face, and it's just a silent panel. So it almost provides this little slight pause in the action that kind of foreshadows, that something's going to happen. And it's not something that's necessary to the story at all, but it makes for a very nicely balanced page, and also it affects the pacing of the story in an interesting way. So I really liked that. I thought it was just a cool little artistic device there.
Yeah, like it gives you that you know that he's watching now. He's watching the battle. That's the impression I got, at least. So
right. So, Firelord, we should explain for anyone who is watching the video who doesn't know who Firelord is. He was a herald of Galactus, and Galactus was the character who is sort of, mythical in Marvel Universe history, who was introduced sometime around, I think it was like issue 50 of Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
As he's this cosmic being who eats planets. He essentially, not physically like nom 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 picking up pieces of dirt, but he has this machine that basically extracts the energy out of planets, and that energy feeds him and keeps him alive.
Yeah.
And Galactus has what is called a herald, who is a being who he has imbued. Galactus has given what is called the power cosmic to a being to fly ahead to the planet that Galactus has chosen to devour, and basically warn the people like, hey, Galactus is coming. There's no way to stop him because he's basically a space god, and you guys can, get out of here ahead of time. I'm giving you the warning. So Firelord was one of Galactus's heralds, I believe, after the Silver Surfer. Like Silver Surfer is like,
oh really,
the most famous of. Yeah. So Silver Surfer is the most famous of Galactus's heralds, and I think he's the first one. But Galactus had a succession of other heralds after Silver Surfer left his service, left the service of Galactus. It's very hard to say.
That is. I'm not going to try.
But the interesting thing to me was that, like Galactus, it's weird that Galactus like powers up these people to use as heralds, and he gives them the power cosmic and turns them into these incredibly powerful cosmic beings. But then he just sort of tosses them aside and gets a new herald. Yeah. But he doesn't take the power back. He's just like, go off you go, do what you do. So it's all these like superpowered beings who were once heralds of Galactus who left for whatever reason, but they've still got all these, these amazing, incredible powers, and Firelord is one of them. So he's obviously got fire powers, ability to control flame and produce flame. This pose that he's in, like, this is such a great comic book pose, and I love the little Wolverine in the bottom left corner of the image, because look how small the figures are on this page of like Wolverine, Colossus, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, etc. But they're so finely inked. This is what I'm talking about with Bob Layton's work. Like, another inker would not go to the trouble of inking those small figures that finely, because it's not going to come out in print. Like, you can see it on the digital screens of our iPads really well, because we can blow it up and the digital reproduction is very crisp. But when this was printed on newsprint, none of that's coming through on the newsprint printing, and yet Layton really still went to the trouble of putting that much detail into the inks, which I really, I just love it. I think he's so talented, just such a good inker.
Yeah, It's awesome. I just love it. Gives you that feeling of how powerful Firelord is. That they're all little tiny things.
Yeah,
Compared to
yeah,
him,
very
really gives you that.
graphic.
Yeah, this dude's really powerful. Like a lot of X-Men readers probably don't know who he is because he's more of a Fantastic Four, wouldn't he?
Right,
Considering he's
yeah,
Galactus.
exactly.
I'm guessing he's a Fantastic Four villain or good
Yeah,
guy
he
or
is.
whatever it is. I can't make up my mind what he is actually.
No, I
So
think he was most likely introduced in Fantastic Four. I'm not certain of that. So,
let us know in the comments.
as we always say, YouTube audience, please let us know if we
Stuffed up.
if we if we make a mistake. Let us know.
But yeah, this is takes them
Yeah,
out.
so Firelord's obviously a hugely powerful being, and he's easily dispatching Colossus and Cyclops and Nightcrawler. Great pose on Cyclops in the foreground of panel 1 on this page. Just great kind of comic book posing in general in every one of these panels.
Yep.
Yeah, just great stuff. Really good. Yeah, so here's what I was talking about with the lettering. If you look at the lettering on this page and then you compare it to the lettering on the first page, it's more squat, right? It's
It's more
sort of
and square.
it's compressed. It looks more compressed and more square. So Orzechowski is getting more into that realm of what his lettering ended up looking like, and what he became known as like his signature lettering style. Which to me, I don't know. I actually pay attention to lettering because I make, I do the lettering in Steamroller Man myself, so it's something that I'm always like looking at in other comics to just see like how other people are doing it. And and as I said, growing up with reading X-Men comics with Tom Orzechowski's lettering was always like very distinctive to me. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it wasn't so close together, it would remind me of what do you call it? Graphics or tech drawing. The writing you put on tech drawing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just remind
it does have that
those
look.
letters are quite spread out. These are quite close together, but it's got that same squareness.
Yes. Yeah, it does have that look. I would agree. So, all right.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was all I had to say on that page. Did you have anything else to comment on that one?
This page, it's just great action, great fight scene. I just love how he dispatches everyone so easily, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, not a problem.
Yep.
Which, yeah, if you know who he is, then you understand how powerful he is.
Exactly.
Is that the next page? I did go to the next page, yep. And this one, he just I-beams, takes out the other three.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's basically taken all the X-Men out in quick succession in a matter of seconds. Yeah. So he's got I-beams as well as fire powers. And then Eric the Red, this part, I thought this part was weird. Because Eric the Red is like, did you have to be so harsh? Like, did you have to take the X-Men? What does he say? Yeah, did you have to treat the X-Men so harshly? I was like, well, that's him trying to kill them.
Well, he's trying to act the good guy to convince.
Oh, that's right.
Firelord, who I keep calling Firestar, Firelord.
Right. He's fooling.
He's the good guy, and the X-Men are the bad guys. Because if you look at his thought balloons here, he's like, yes, they attacked me just like I knew they would.
Got it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's why he's carrying. He's carrying so he doesn't look like the bad guy.
Right. So he is conning Firelord into thinking, I don't want you to attack them. Yeah, interesting.
Well, I don't see the point of it all. Because I'm like, why does he go to all that effort to get Firelord to go, oh yeah, you're one of the good guys, and then when we see him again, he's doing what he's doing. I won't say yet, but it has nothing to do with Firelord anymore. So it's like, why did he even need him?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm like, it made for a good story, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Good on you, Chris.
And it's an interesting Yeah, I mean, the whole inclusion of Firelord into this issue is like it's a bit curious because it
Yeah.
does make you do kind of wonder, like, well, what's he doing here, and what does he have to do with any of this now? And but I mean, in terms of just fun comics, it is cool
Yeah.
to have that kind of that character crossover from Fantastic Four into the X-Men. And so, as I said, like I really love this issue because it's just action nonstop, and
Oh
it is
yeah.
cool to see this character in the X-Men very unexpectedly, because he does kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he does,
This was
doesn't he?
one thing that wasn't foreshadowed at all. So this appearance of Firelord was a complete surprise.
Yeah. And this is where
Um,
he describes that he saw Firelord coming, and that's where he came up with his plan, but he doesn't really explain how that's part of his plan. But I guess we find out.
right. It's a very complicated ruse, I
Yeah, it
think.
is very.
Like he's set up this whole sort of con to convince Firelord, but it's like surely there's an easier way to do all this.
Yeah. Well, what I love is, can I go to the next page? You finished here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I love is he gets his cohorts to attack him, to even prove some more.
Right. So he's
And I
using Polaris and Havoc as his
more
pawns in this plan to convince Firelord that I'm a sympathetic guy and you can trust me and I'm altruistic. Which is interesting that like Firelord seems to be like this I wouldn't say lawful good type character, but he's definitely like lawful evil, I would think. Like he,
Yeah.
in terms of D&D alignment, character
Yep.
alignment terms, where he still has like this code, but he's willing to kill people. But it's got to be according to his code. Like he's not just like a mass murderer who's just going to lay waste to everything for no reason. And Eric the Red's trying to give him a justifiable reason to go after Xavier.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because that's who he's after, we find out.
Yep.
The X-Men's leader, Xavier.
Just love the artwork, like the inking. I just can't.
Beautiful.
It's so good. Like every panel just looks so great. And even more on the next page.
We've got the ship. I love this scene because it reminds me of another scene that happens again many years later, but for me before this because I read it earlier, which actually corresponds with this shirt.
Oh, interesting. Which scene are you referring to?
There is a scene in the Outback X-Men where the men in the team have gone out to go drinking and just to have a good time because they've been chased by
that issue
and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Aliens come down, and there's an alien who is doing the thing like this woman and checking out all the specs about Earth. He's like, oh my god, they've fought off Galactus 4 times. They've goes through this long list of all the things that the Earth has fought off and won against.
Right.
And he goes running to the leader, and he gets shot down because they think he's attacking the leader before he can tell him, by the way, this planet has stopped all this stuff. I don't think we should be invading them.
Right. I think, I do remember that issue.
I
have
remember
a feeling
well,
that was drawn by Rob Liefeld.
Really? I don't remember that well.
I think he was a guest artist on that issue.
Actually, I'm picturing the aliens' faces in it, and I think that would be Rob Liefeld's art style.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember he did do because I was way into Rob Liefeld's artwork back then when I was a teenager. And to be collecting X-Men comics and then have Rob Liefeld do an issue, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why can't he draw every issue?
I love that issue. Just the whole concept of just them taking out it was a good battalion, not even battalion, like an entire army of aliens, and Havoc's drunk while he's doing it. It's just cracking up.
That's right.
But
Yeah,
this
so this
scene,
page,
I love the middle one.
yes.
That's like Star Trek all over it.
Oh my God. I said the same thing. Like, that is
He's even.
clearly a direct
Hmm.
reference to
Oh yeah,
a
big
shot
time.
from Star Trek, the original series. Like,
Yeah, because he's even doing
everybody's
it.
in the same positions, and
Yeah.
I guarantee you that Cockrum used reference of like a photo from Star Trek
Oh,
um,
definitely.
for this panel. Actually, for probably the next panel too, with the view screen in front
Yeah,
of them. Um,
there's
there's
a lot more
so much
complicated
on this.
world that they will than Star
Yeah,
Trek.
there's so much on this page that so much on this page just to talk about in general, but
Yeah.
they also have a mention of the Prime Directive
Yes.
in panel 4, and then they call it a Class M planet, which I think is another. That's what they would use in Star
Straight
Trek all the
from. Yep.
time to talk
Yep.
about, like, oh, this is a habitable planet for humans.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's pulling from Star Trek left, right, and center. Also, you can see the design on the glove is the
Oh,
design. Remember, issues and
how did I
issues
not
ago,
see that?
we were talking about, like, you saw a hand in front
Mm.
of a view screen and it had that design on the glove, and we were like, who's that?
And
Whose
they've all got
costume
them.
is that? And here's the answer. It's the Shi'ar.
How did I not see that? I was wondering who that glove was for every issue up until the last one, probably, and now I've seen it and I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, there we
goodness.
go. The mystery is solved. The glove
Yeah, we don't know who it
design.
is because they've all got that symbol on their glove, but
Right.
it's one of them.
Yeah. So it's interesting that even back then, that could have been like a random glove design back then
Yeah.
when Cockrum was drawing it. But now he's made sure that if it was a random design, it's now not random because he's put
Mm.
it into this issue to tie things together. And yeah, it's just great how it all sort of ties it up. And
And
another thing I wanted to mention
yep.
in panel 3,
Hmm.
that character in the bottom right hand corner of panel 3, the big yellow face,
Yep. Yep.
that character is very reminiscent of a Legion of Superheroes character called Chameleon Boy, who looks almost exactly like that face,
Yeah.
which also ties back into Dave Cockrum's history, because right before he was working on the X-Men, he was working on Legion of Superheroes.
Yep.
So, I don't know whether he just threw Chameleon Boy in as like a little kind of Easter egg gag for readers who would be,
Yeah. Yeah.
following him from title to title. But yeah, that's another kind of interesting reference in here. And the other thing, so much I've got so
Got a
much. I
lot to
wrote
say
down
about this
so
page.
many
It's
things
awesome.
on this single page. There's so many
Yep.
things. I thought it was interesting on this page that they reference Galactus, but they don't even have like one of those little editor caption boxes saying
Oh
"See
yeah.
Fantastic Four issue 50 readers" or whatever.
Mm.
Like, they never actually explain who Galactus is to a new reader,
Oh, that's
which
true.
I thought was very curious, because that's something that you see over and over again, especially in Marvel comics of this period, is they're always trying
Trying to get you
to,
to go after that.
make it easy for new readers to, point the new readers to the issues that they're referencing. But that does not happen here. So I thought that was really, really quite curious.
So Firelord mentions Galactus a lot, but he doesn't really mention a moment. So that's probably why they didn't reference him there.
Right.
Galactus, that is. But this is like exact moments. 4 times. Maybe that's what it is. They didn't have room for all 4 issues.
Could be. Could be.
If because I only knew of one, so I want to go back now and find the other 3. Because this is back in the late 70s, and I didn't know
Right.
that he'd been defeated 4 times
Yeah,
before that,
they've already had 4 appearances of Galactus in whatever
and he'd been beaten all
comics
four
that would
times.
be. Yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I just love the middle one. The middle one. That pose, that dude in the green, the captain,
Yeah,
is
that's
exactly Kirk.
total William
Exactly
Shatner.
Kirk.
Yes,
Ah.
absolutely. Yep,
So that's yeah, okay.
no
I'll go on to the
doubt.
next page. I've had my fun. And here she is, although we don't know it's a she yet. Oh yes you do.
Right. Yeah, so
Beams,
again,
because they shoot up.
another Star Trek reference with the
Yes.
transporter beam.
And do they call it photons that they're shooting at her? Yes, photon torpedoes. Another reference.
So it's literally like Chris Claremont was watching a Star Trek marathon on TV or something when he was writing this issue, because this is total like Star Trek. I mean, clearly he's a fan of Star Trek,
Yeah,
and he probably
obviously.
was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to do some space stuff. This is my chance to do some Star Trek stuff,"
Yeah.
which I think is really cool. And I've talked before about how much I love the insectoid designs of these ships. Such a clever kind of design style and a design cue to
Even the spacesuits.
springboard off of. Yeah, exactly. The spacesuits look great, but they're also that insect-like
very
design.
lovely.
Really cool.
But I just love they find out about Galactus. They're like, "Oh crap, we better shoot her down now." So what?
Yeah.
What happened? What?
Right.
How's that connect? So yeah, they're like, "Kill her before she gets to the planet." I guess it's
Right.
because the planet has got rid of Galactus, so they've got no chance against this planet. So they're
Right.
like, "Kill her before she makes allies with them."
Yeah, I guess so.
That kind of makes sense, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I guess, sort of. There's other things that don't make sense. I keep grabbing my mouse to move the iPad. Okay. Well, this is, they're having a nice little time there. Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad.
Yep.
Get some food. And then straight out of Star Trek. I think even one of them...
Yep.
That's a Star Trek teleporter effect.
Yeah, she actually says like, "Oh, it looks like that Star Trek transporter effect."
Oh, transporter, sorry. So they're not hiding where the references are coming from.
No, not at all.
I want to know how her crazy hair fit into that helmet. Come on.
Right.
That makes no sense.
So, Xavier's freaked out because he's like, "Oh no, this is my nightmare coming true." So he's been having these nightmares. This was like the recurring subplot in almost, most issues, starting with X-Men 94, I think, which was the one right after the giant size special.
Yeah.
We started getting references to these nightmares that he was having, and so now this is the payoff for all that build up. Was the woman that he's been seeing in his nightmares is now right in front of him. Takes the helmet off, as you said. Her hair is perfect underneath a helmet shape that does not look at all like the shape of her head. And of course, she faints.
Yes,
faints away. Exactly. The other thing that I thought was interesting was that Charles calls her by name as she faints. Now,
it's like,
he hasn't
know her, but not her in a spacesuit. Is that what the?
I don't know. Like that was the interesting thing to me, was that he has never named her in the issues that we've read, even in all the scenes where he was like, "Oh, I just had this nightmare." He never said like, "Oh, it's this woman. Her name's Lilandra." So I don't know. Maybe this was just something that was it was kept from the audience, from the readers, in the interest of suspense. But it does kind of make you wonder, like, oh, he knows her name, but I guess he's a telepath, so
yeah.
To me, there's an explanation, I guess.
Yeah, my thing was the vibe I got from it was he knows her outside of the dream.
Oh, really?
The aliens spacesuit wasn't known to him, and that's why there was a nightmare. But seeing her face, he's like, "Oh my god, it's Lilandra," and I'm like,
Huh.
they haven't really
That's
hinted. And I'm
interesting.
like, I don't know anything before the giant size. So is there anything that references her before that? Because
I
I thought
think,
this was the first appearance of the Shi'ar Empire as well, so it wouldn't make sense that he knew her. So I don't know. I don't know
that's
what
what I
they're
was
trying to
just
set up
going to
here.
say. I think that the Shi'ar and Lilandra are purely Chris Claremont era. Like they
Yeah,
didn't appear before Chris Claremont took over. So I think this is the first appearance.
yeah, which
Um,
makes you wonder what's going on. What are they trying to
yeah,
set up?
yeah,
Feels like they're trying to set something up. I could be wrong. It could be just he's telepath and he figured out a name by reading a mind.
yeah. I mean, it's certainly explainable
Hmm.
due to the fact that he's got telepathic powers. It's just that they don't explain it, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
out of character for Marvel Comics writing of the time.
Like I said, it felt
Anyway,
like they were setting something else up to me. That could just be me, because he seems really worried about her now that he knows who she is.
yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah,
what's going on here?
yeah.
It's like he knows her,
It is
but he didn't know
weird,
who the spacesuit was, and
right?
it was scaring him.
And it was, they were clearly nightmares, and he was clearly getting freaked out by the appearance of this woman, albeit in a spacesuit. So maybe he didn't know who it was. So I get what you're saying.
Oh no, he says there. Sorry, next page he
Where?
says it. See, I missed that particular thing. He says we've never met before, and yet.
Okay.
I
So
missed that when I read it. There you go.
right. So
Just
what?
hopeless.
Yeah. So what that suggests is we've got
Some
some kind of
connection.
psychic connection, even though we've never met. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that makes more
Um,
sense.
I love this page. I
Oh,
love this page. Like, it's just so well drawn. That page 3 with that explosion and all that debris just looks
hmm
great. It just looks so good. It's simple and yet conveys the action and drama of the moment. I like the lighting, and again, the inking on this page is really great.
hmm
Jean Grey's face in the bottom left panel.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, great. And Phoenix looks great when she
hmm
transforms. It's awesome.
Yeah. And this is where this is where we finally get to see how powerful she is, because she hasn't
Yeah,
really had a chance to show off how powerful the Phoenix is. Unless I'm
right.
forgetting that scene, but you see
No,
that
this
she.
is, this is the thing. It's interesting because I think I said in a previous episode that she turns into Phoenix, but then they immediately sideline her, and she's in a hospital bed for like 2 issues, and then we don't
Oh,
see her for like you don't even see Jean for a couple of issues, and you're like, well, wait, what was that whole Phoenix thing? Like, when is that going to happen?
and then we find out.
And now it's finally happening. So it's interesting, just the pacing of the way that Claremont sort of holds back
Yeah.
certain events in the plot until so they have maximum dramatic impact. So he's building up suspense in a way, because he's sort of dropping these seeds where you're like, what's that about? What's this about? And then he doesn't say anything about it for a few issues, and then finally,
Yes.
here you go. Here's what it was all about.
Payoff. Love
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I guess that's what keeps the X-Men fan base kind of coming back for more, and
Makes
why
sense.
he built the X-Men into the phenomenon that he did was because of that writing style.
I agree.
So,
But this is where we find out how powerful she is, because it's
yeah,
like only Thor has ever struck me with such power, and we all know how
right.
powerful Thor is with his hammer.
Yep.
So it's like, wow.
I love
And
that
that looks
I
like
love
something
that
you
face
can-
on panel 3,
Oh yeah.
Jean's face with the shading. And Yeah, what page? Where am I? Oh, yeah.
You mixed up?
Yeah, the inking on the faces in panels 2 and 3
Yeah.
I really liked. And then there's so this is interesting. There's a Claremont and Cockrum self-insert on panel 5 with the two
Oh, is that
guys
what that's
sitting
meant
on
to
the
be?
ground. And the guy on the left has a sketch pad, and then the guy on the right is saying, "Anyway, Dave, he hits the ground with this incredible sound effect."
I was wondering what that was all about.
Yeah, it's Claremont and Dave Cockrum putting themselves into the comic.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
interesting thing
I
about
love how
Marvel
they keep
Comics,
doing that.
yeah, is that Marvel Comics exists in the Marvel universe. Like the Marvel Comics company and the creators of Marvel Comics exist in the world with the superheroes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Very,
I
very
love that.
interesting.
Yeah, I read that and I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't understand. But now it makes sense. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that continues on to the next page where you see panel 1. Chris Claremont's going, "Dave, aren't you listening?" And then Dave Cockrum saying, "Chris, do us all a favor, shut up and run."
Oh, cool.
I'm not loving the coloring of Jean's silhouette in panel 3 here. I think this would have been a much more effective panel if they had just left. See how they've colored the silhouette with the colors of her Phoenix costume?
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
found that
completely
weird.
unnecessary. I think they should have just left that as a solid color, or just white would have been
White, yeah.
very dramatic, and you would have gotten more of the feeling of like the energy of the blast. So I'm a bit baffled as to why colorist made that choice.
Especially her
Yeah.
head.
Right.
It's really odd looking.
Yeah,
The rest
very
makes
strange.
sense, but above the shoulders, it's like, what's going on there? Her
So
flesh color's going.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, her face. Yes.
Yeah.
The way that they
Like
they
squished
put
out.
the
It's like, what's
they
going
put the
on?
flesh color into the space, which is not supposed to be. I think that's all supposed to be her hair.
Yeah, that's what I got the impression. He's
Yeah.
like, why'd you put that color there, dude?
Yep. So, I was wondering, based on panel 4, you've got Jean Grey's mother asking John, "Is that our daughter?" Now, did Jean Grey's parents know she was a mutant?
No,
Okay.
they don't. I don't know about this issue, but when he first took her, they had no
Yeah.
idea. She was just a gifted child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering was, did they know she was a mutant and they're just surprised that she's now turned into
A really
Phoenix?
powerful.
Or do they not know she's a mutant at all and they're surprised about all of this?
Well, my understanding is they didn't know, but I mean, I just know in their history they didn't know. I don't know if there's point in the history they didn't know. I'm just assuming because she says something like that.
Yep.
Assume.
So here's the big reveal. At the bottom of this page, Eric the Red arrives and Lilandra calls him Shikari. And we reveal that Shikari is actually from the Shi'ar planet, the Shi'ar homeworld, Lilandra's planet. And it says, "Now at your brother's imperial command, I have come to take you home to die." So he's been acting as an agent of Lilandra's brother, who I guess is on the throne of the Shi'ar homeworld. So that's the explanation for this whole subplot.
I must have skipped these panels. I don't know what's going on. It's like, how did I not read this? Shikari, you exiled me to Earth. It's like, what? Yes, it's me, Shikari. I must have been paying attention when I read this one.
Well,
Must have just been too busy going fight scene, fight scene, fight scene.
Yeah.
Too many words. Go back to the fight scene.
Right, exactly.
And we've got the Fantastic Four mobile. I don't know if it actually is, but it's very similar design.
Yeah, it looks like it, huh?
And I love, in this small amount of time, Eric the Red has made a portal of some sort.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
together a Stargate.
Exactly. That's what I wrote down. He builds a Stargate, and they call it a Stargate.
Yes.
And this is years before the movie Stargate.
Yep.
But it's the exact same device. Like, this is literally the same thing from the movie Stargate. So I guess we can tell where the Stargate movie got its idea from.
Yes.
It's this X-Men comic, subconsciously or consciously.
Yes.
And then, the X-Men fly to the rescue in what looks like a fantastic car, and yet again, vehicle explosion. Another vehicle they're in explodes, and Nightcrawler actually says, "Oh no, not again!"
Yeah, I loved when he did that because he said it in the last issue about the.
It's awesome.
And he's like, "Oh, not again!" Yeah, that's classic.
The art again, the crisp inking on everything in this page, like the Stargate mechanical sort of stuff in panel 2 looks fantastic. But then you've got like the inking on Cyclops's face and his visor, Nightcrawler's face, even Wolverine's face, really small in the background of panel 4. Everything just looks so good and nice and clear. And then great explosion in the final panel. I just think the combination of Dave Cockrum and Bob Layton is
it's a good combo.
Unbeatable. Like, it's so good. And then on page 14, the next page, this is again another fantastic looking page. So Phoenix, here's where we first see the Flamebird Phoenix effect behind Jean using her Phoenix powers, which is a cool look, and it's become, the signature look of the Phoenix powers. As she zaps Firelord, not Firebird.
You're talking like me now.
Yeah, I know. There's been so much to talk about in this issue. And brain's getting muddled. But yeah, Phoenix looks amazing on this page. So good.
Like panel 3, I love her hair's just covering the rest of the panel.
Yeah, it's just extending all the way to the edges. It looks awesome. And we also get, so this, I believe, is the first time that we get a feeling or a hint of the dark side of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Panel 4, where she's like, what does she say? Like, part of me wants to get Firelord, to kill him.
Yeah.
My power is hitting me like a drug. God in heaven, what have I become? So, so this is the foreshadowing for Dark Phoenix. Her power is going to become too much for her to control, and it's going to take her over in coming issues. But yeah, another amazing looking page. Very cool action.
Agreed. And we've got old Nightcrawler going in for the showing off his acrobats.
Acrobatic. So this device, this artistic device where it's like multiple images of the same character in the one panel, I found out that's called a DeLuca effect.
Oh, okay.
And it's named for an Italian comic artist called Gianni DeLuca, who apparently used to do it a lot. In his comics, back in, I think, in the 60s and 70s, I think. But yeah, it's commonly known as the DeLuca effect, which is that what you see in that first panel, the multiple images.
Because they do that a lot in the early Spider-Man issues.
Yeah. And so, Eric the Red now kidnaps Lilandra, going through the Stargate. Nightcrawler jumps after him, but he's too late.
Turns off just as they get through.
Stargate turns off. And then Xavier is impotently shaking his fist.
Yes.
Love that gesture. It's like a gesture that nobody does in real life.
No.
Only ever happens like in the movies and comic books.
In the movies and comics.
Why you? Like, does anyone ever go like, it can't end like this? It mustn't.
But what I love
it.
is how evil he looks in this next page. So, raging Xavier.
Yeah, with that shadow. Yeah. Wow.
And he's just so mean. He's like, are you blind?
The interesting thing here is, like, Phoenix is powerful enough to reactivate the Stargate here. And she reveals that. So, it's a bit.
And no one notices the giant phoenix behind her. Right. Ari Phoenix.
I guess nobody's. If they notice it, they're not freaked out by it. It's like, this kind of thing happens all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's, she reveals here that Eric the Red, Shikari, is a secret agent sent to Earth to prevent the X-Men from helping Lilandra to stop her brother from enacting a plan that could destroy the universe. So, wow.
How did you know that?
Talk about a space opera. That's very, like, melodramatic and all, high stakes. Possibly destroying the universe.
Well, she says she got that telepathically.
Right.
From either the Lilandra, or Xavier. I don't know which. She doesn't really specify. Because Xavier seems to know what's going on as well. It's like, it's the end of the universe. Don't stop him. Type of thing.
So, it's pretty complicated. And they're explaining the whole plot in one panel. So
yeah, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah. Gotta love comics.
Like, just jump through the Stargate. What a problem. No problem.
Right. Yeah,
Xavier
which they do. Like, I love the bottom left panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, panel 5. Cyclops says, "But Professor, the risks. Is our going really that important?"
Yeah.
Xavier's like, "It is, Scott. Get in there."
Yeah, it is. He's like, oh, well, in that case.
Oh, are you coming? No, I'm not going. You guys are going. You're taking all the risks. Oh, don't worry, Scott. I'll be here to tell you what a terrible job you did when you get back. If you get back.
So true, so true.
Professor Xavier does it again. Also, like, this final panel. The final page after they've gone through the Stargate. Jean goes through the Stargate as well, because she's like, "Oh, I better go make sure that I keep the X-Men out of trouble." But then her parents are like, "Wait, what are you doing?" And then
you've got a lot of explaining to do, mister.
Exactly. Like, talk about a fist shaking moment. Jean's dad is like, "You got a lot of explaining to do, Xavier." And then Firelord arrives, but he's too late because this issue is over. Now, wow. As I said at the beginning of this episode, this is my favorite issue that we've talked about so far. This has got to be like my favorite one since Giant Size X-Men #1. Like, so much action. The art was fantastic. Really fun story. And like literally non-stop from cover to cover. It was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Agreed. It was awesome. I keep going to flick to the next page, hoping there's more. Yes, this was a great issue. So, Matt, now that we're at the end of the issue, this is where you tell us your band name.
Yep. So once again, I'm going to give you two choices.
Oh, two choices.
So the first one is on page 5. Let me see if I can go to page 5.
Let's see if I can go to page 5.
And on panel 1, Firelord says, "You shall reap the whirlwind." So the first choice is "Reap the Whirlwind."
I like it. That's awesome.
Sounds like a heavy metal band name.
It does a bit.
And then the other choice is on page 17, which is the last page, I think, of the issue. Yeah, it is.
Second last, isn't it?
Maybe. No, last page. It's actually from the final thought balloon of the issue, where Xavier says, "Tomorrow the universe will die." So I thought, "Tomorrow the universe" would be a good band name.
I like the first one better.
Reap the Whirlwind.
Reap the Whirlwind.
All right, that's it.
That's awesome.
That's this week's band name.
This week's well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Much appreciated. If you have anything to add to what we've talked about, whack it in the comments. We'd love to see your complaining about what we said, complimenting us on what we said. All of the above are allowed. While you're there, like and subscribe to the channel so you can get more uncanny conversations in your life. So, see you for the next issue, which is 106.
Yep.
I said that right this time? Yep, cool.
Yep,
and I have a bad habit of saying the number wrong at the end. And until then, I'm Siz. You can find me at comex.net.au. That's comx.net.au. And Matt, where can people find your stuff online?
Please go to steamrollerman.com and read Steamroller Man for free.
Ooh, lovely. Free's always good. Well, in that case, good night, Matt. Good night. Well, not good night. Goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, good everyone. Night for me.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not for me, so I don't know why I was saying that.
Right.
And goodbye to everyone.
I'll see you next time, Siz.
See you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.